I am a coin, cold, metallic, ordinary. People stepped on me, over me, ignored me. I was lost in the cracks of the sidewalk, forgotten. Then one day, everything changed. A hand reached down, picked me up. The world looked different from a pocket. Dark, warm, jumbled with other coins. We clinked together, a chorus of forgotten melodies. I wondered about the stories we held, the lives we touched. We were more than just currency. We were witnesses.
The hand that held me was rough, calloused. It belonged to a man, his face etched with hardship. He counted us carefully, his brow furrowed with worry. He needed a miracle. I felt a pang, a strange empathy for this stranger. I was his last hope, his last chance. He clutched us tightly, a silent prayer escaping his lips. I wanted to whisper, "It's going to be okay," but I was just a coin. He took me to a small shop, the air thick with the smell of ink and paper. Newspapers. The shop was a small, unassuming place tucked away in a corner of the bustling city. The walls were lined with shelves, each one crammed with newspapers from all over the world. He bought one, his hands trembling slightly. It was a simple act, but it carried so much weight. The shopkeeper, a kind old man with a knowing smile, handed him the newspaper with a nod. He clutched it to his chest, a beacon of hope in his tired eyes. The newspaper was more than just a collection of articles. It was a symbol of possibility. Maybe that newspaper held a job listing, a winning lottery number, a message of hope. Each page was a new opportunity, a chance to turn his life around. It was a small price to pay for a dream, for a chance. The coin he handed over was insignificant, but to him, it was an investment in hope. As he walked away, I felt a sense of purpose. The newspaper, now tucked under his arm, was a constant reminder of the possibilities that lay ahead. I found myself in a different pocket, a much livelier one. This time, it was a young woman, her energy buzzing like a hummingbird. She sang along to music, her joy infectious. She jingled me with other coins, creating a rhythm of gratitude. She used me to buy a street vendor's hot dog, thanking him profusely. Her happiness was contagious. It was a simple exchange, yet it radiated warmth. I realized that joy, like kindness, had a ripple effect. My next stop was a whirlwind. I was part of a larger transaction, a blur of foreign currency and excited chatter. A tourist, his eyes wide with wonder, was buying a souvenir. A miniature Eiffel Tower.
He smiled, thanking the vendor in broken English. The vendor chuckled, responding in equally broken French. I was a symbol of connection, bridging cultures and languages. In that moment, the world seemed smaller, more united.
The tourist dropped me in a taxi, the driver's weary eyes meeting mine in the rearview mirror. He was a man carrying the weight of the city on his shoulders. He worked long hours, navigating crowded streets and impatient passengers.
I could tell this fare, this simple act of transportation, meant something to him. It was another step closer to home, to family. I was a small part of his story, a silent companion on his journey. The taxi driver's next passenger was a woman, her face etched with sadness. She clutched her purse tightly, her eyes red-rimmed. She was going through a heartbreak, the kind that leaves you breathless and hollow. I felt her pain, the weight of her regret. She held me tightly, as if I was the only constant in a world that had suddenly shifted on its axis. I was a silent witness to her tears, her silent plea for the pain to cease. A familiar touch. This is a story about connections, both fleeting and profound, and how a simple object can carry the weight of memories and emotions. The woman didn't use me to pay the fare. She held me in her hand, contemplating my worth, but decided against it. As he counted out her change, I slipped from his hand, rolling on the worn floor of the cab. The sound of metal against the floor was almost musical. Before he could retrieve me, a familiar hand reached down. It was a hand that had known hardship.
The homeless man. He had been through so much, yet there was a gentleness in his touch. His eyes met mine, a flicker of recognition passing between us. It was as if he remembered the times we had shared. He smiled, a small, hesitant gesture. He remembered me. As he held me, I could feel the warmth of his hand, the roughness of his skin. It was a familiar touch. He placed me in his pocket, a safe haven amidst the uncertainty of his life. I was more than just a coin to him. I was a symbol of hope. As he walked away, I felt a sense of purpose. I was a part of his journey, a small but significant part of his story. A familiar touch, a fleeting moment, a lasting impact. This is the story of a coin and the lives it touched.
A circle of change. He picked me up, his touch gentler this time. He looked at me, then at the driver, and back at me. He seemed to be contemplating something, weighing his options. Then he did something unexpected.
He offered me to the driver, a small token of appreciation. The driver hesitated, then accepted, a surprised smile spreading across his face. It was a simple exchange, yet it spoke volumes. Kindness begets kindness.
The gift of perspective. I remained with the taxi driver, a lucky charm tucked into his sun visor. From my new vantage point, I watched the city go by. The bustling streets, the hurried pedestrians, the endless stream of traffic. I realized that everyone has a story. We are all connected, our lives intertwined in ways we may never fully comprehend. Every interaction, no matter how small, has the power to change someone's day, their outlook, their life. The journey continues. I am just a coin, cold, metallic, ordinary. But my existence is far from mundane. I am a silent observer, a keeper of stories, a witness to human life. I have seen the highs and lows, the laughter in gatherings, and the solitude of reflection. My journey is far from over. Each day I roll through countless hands, each with its own story. I travel from hand to hand, witnessing life unfold in all its complexity. Even the smallest acts of kindness can have a profound impact. I have seen people helping each other, small moments weaving our shared humanity. I have been tossed into wishing wells, carrying hopes and dreams. I am more than just a coin. My journey continues, gathering stories, moments, and life.